This episode of the Unwashed Asses is brought to you by patreon.com/0and09. If you dig this show, if you want to help make dreams come true, if you want fabulous things to happen with RSS feeds, custom artwork, maybe an executive producer title, head over to patreon.com/0and09. Pitch in $1, $2, $5. Actually, all I want's a dollar. Dollar from everybody. We got a $40 goal to make all of our bill payments come true. Because no advertisers are signing up. So head on over to Patreon. Sign up today. Oh boy. Woo! Gotta try to be excited. Wake myself up because it is definitely 9:30 at night on Monday, September 25th, 2017. Running a little bit late, but I promise you it's gonna be worth it. I was looking for a clip, looking for something special, something I wanted to share. And it means that I have to mute my phone because I keep getting retweets and whatnot now. Because we've got an audience. Excited. We're thrilled. We're building something special. And I got to look at some show notes here. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about here. Got a lot of good feedback about last week's episode with Dan, despite him outing me as far as what I do for a living, and thereby ruining any chances I had to tell further stories with the plausible deniability of like, well, I never said who I worked for, so it was okay. But now that everybody knows who I work for, I can't tell you the clusterfuck shit show that I had happen to me today. I can't. Because then the companies will be like, well, you were telling company secrets and, talking about customers and things like that. And people know who you work for. And then all of a sudden I'm out of a job. So thanks for that, Dan. I really appreciate it. Because today would have been good. If you guys want to flip on over to the other universe, do a quantum leap, you can listen to that episode where that Christian hasn't been outed yet. And he's very open about what happens at work and inside the closet that he's no longer sitting in. So instead, we're going to talk about other random pointless bullshit because that's what we do here. So had some vacation last week. Man, oh man, was it nice! I took a week off after working a year and a half straight in a particularly brutal summer with lots of OT. Long-time listeners and viewers can attest to that. There were many shows that were postponed, recorded on different days, and overall quality was kind of middling at best. But we made it through. We got through it, and that's why we're up for an award. If you don't know, we got the podcast awards. Those podcast awards are apparently streaming live on Saturday the 30th. So if you want to watch, you're more than welcome to. We might, I don't know, should I do like a live viewing party? A live viewing party to watch myself lose and be like, oh shit, somebody else with a different theme site won it, or somebody who actually puts out coherent content and won it, or the crazy thing might happen where we win. And then I lose my shit and it just starts shoving it in everybody's face like, fuck you, 2017 podcast award winner. And the customer will be like, I don't know what that is. What's a podcast? Why aren't you fixing my cable? I'm like, oh, I have to put my award away. But no, that'll be awesome. It'll be a good time. So head over to podcastawards.com. They have all the details there. I'm not going to really promote their stuff any more than that. Aside from, I don't know, fuck it. I mean, we're either gonna win or we're not gonna win. At this point, voting should be all done. So, I was selected as a judge for that, and what it involved then was going through all the different categories and then picking one show for each of the categories that I felt was best. And there are so many different shows out there. It was exhausting to go through, and what you should do is you go through and you listen to the different shows, you get a feel for them, and you see who's actually the best. And I didn't do that. I totally did not do that. I based them solely on their presentability, how easy it was to find and get information on them. So it was a matter of, okay, here's the list for this category. Let's do a fucking Google search. How is it? How do they show up? How do they stack? And can I find their site easily? Do they even have a site? Is the site have a good layout? Or is it a bunch of bullshit that pops up right away with join our newsletter, or we have audio and video playing right away as soon as you click onto our show, or we don't even have a website, it just goes straight to an iTunes feed. It made decisions very, very easy, because I am a firm believer in if you're going to do something, go all the way with it. Don't half-ass it. And it's aggravating to me. It pisses me off when people don't go for something that they have their eye set on. You know, something where they want to go and start a new project. They want to do a podcast. They want to start streaming. They want to write a book. They want to learn a new skill, and they don't attack it like a hungry lion on a sickly gazelle. You know, a lion that's been starving for weeks and weeks, and he just gets lucky, and this mama gazelle is just, she's all worn out from childbirth, and she's got a couple babies around her, and he just pounces on that shit. He has no ill will towards her, aside from he's just got to put food in his belly, and he's going to go for it with all he's got. If I don't see that level of dedication and ferocity out of somebody, and they're in, you know, a similar field, or they have a similar goal, in this case, these are my competitors, these are my peers, these are the challengers to what I want, then I get a little pissed off. I get upset. I get annoyed. And then you have people who like, oh, well, you know, could you help me with this project? You could do this thing with me. And I don't see that same level of commitment. It's aggravating. It's annoying. And so a lot of sites or a lot of shows immediately got disqualified. One, if there wasn't a website. Two, if they had new like pop-ups right away, like sign up and join our newsletter. Or if they were part of some like larger network and their site was like buried within that, their show is buried within that site. And it's like, the fuck? You know, it's great that you're part of a network, but you're kind of piggybacking on somebody else's success. Like, rise up, you know, unshackle yourself, do amazing things, and go forth and be awesome. And they don't do that, and it's aggravating. So there was a period where it's just like it was like sifting through a lot of shit, and some of these shows and sites were very forgettable, where the show would pop up in multiple categories, which I don't know how that happened or worked. If I knew it was a thing, I probably would have, you know, signed up TUA for different categories, but whatever. And I would forget, like, oh, I already looked at it. It would show up in my Google autocomplete. I totally forgot what this show and site was, and what they're trying to promote, what they're about. And that just spoke terribly, because it's not like I spread it out over weeks or days. I did it in the span of like 2 hours, just sat here while the girlfriend's watching HGTV, and I'm just like, fucking look at all these bullshit sites, listen to segments of these shows, and find who I think is the best, because I'm one of, you know, like a few hundred people that are voting on this. And again, it's aggravating. And you can go and look at, you know, like my site 0 and 9 it's very basic. It's a straightforward blog format. I still use Google's Blogger platform, for fuck's sake. But it's simple. It gets the point across. I create a post. It shows up in a timeline. You go click the thing. If it's media, I have links, and I have links to the different sites that I'm involved with and categories. It's just easy to navigate. You get the information. There's no fuckery. There's no pop-ups. I don't even have ads on my site anymore. It's just It's all right there. And then you go to theunwashedasses.com, and it's even simpler. It's just the Twitter feed and all the new posts. That's it. Now, that being said, sometimes I like to jazz things up, and I definitely spent some of that vacation time going through and retooling the main site, the 09 site, getting rid of some old stuff and put in a new feed where you can head over to 0and09.com now and watch the streams, the Twitch feed. It's embedded now. You click the link and you go right to the main Twitch page, and you can join the chat, get in on this party, and it's amazing. Update some graphics, resize things so they're more aesthetically pleasing, and it works. It works, and I was happy. And that's the thing, like, my hobby is content creation, but I still take it very seriously because I'd like to believe I have a strong work ethic. I'd like to. There might be people that argue with that. I don't know. If you are, fuck you. I work super hard. But so confrontational tonight, so angry, so bitter. Probably because of that shit day I had that I can't talk about. But no, it's that thing, like, this is what I choose to do in my spare time. And so if I'm choosing to do something, like what little spare time I have, I'm going to put my most into it, and I'm going to put my best foot forward. And if that's what the standard that I'm holding myself to, why wouldn't I hold other people to it? And it might come down to, passion. How much passion do you have? And this is the part why the show's late by a half hour, because I was trying to find this segment. I recently started listening to Smodcast, which is Kevin Smith's podcast. I had listened to it a while ago, kind of fell off the wagon, now getting back into it, which I do with shows from time to time. And, it's like anything else. Too much of a good thing, it's possible. You can't eat Moose Tracks ice cream all the time because you get sick of it. You can't eat Halloween Oreos all the time because you get sick of it. You can't have the Shamrock Shakes or the McRibs or any of these other limited edition things all the time because you get sick of it. And the same thing happened with Kevin Smith, where I got into a really big kick. I was watching his public speaking events and listening to the podcast, and dude is straight up one of the most inspirational fucks out there. He is a huge sorry, I should have hit my mute switch. He is a huge inspirational force for me, because everything he kind of says resonates with me, and despite not being into stoner jokes or pot or all that other shit that he does, and I'm definitely following the route of I've got a beard and I'm getting fat, but he's very, very dedicated to his art, and it means a lot to him. And I wanted to find that clip, this one clip that has definitely resonated with me more than any other that he has put out. I watched it years ago. It was part of his speaking tour for Red State. And years and years that stuck with me, and I went ahead and I looked it up again, and it was still just as profound, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Hopefully you get a little something out of it. And by the way, fuck's sake, the one site I could find it streaming on was Vimeo, and Vimeo just fucking sucks as far as loading stuff up. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a link in the chat real quick. And we'll go ahead and play this fucker here, if I can get it resized.
I've been doing for 20 years. No, I just feel like it's kind of time to stop. Because you got to love your fucking art. It's not enough to just be like, oh, my art is my fucking career. That's like being married to somebody for a few years and being like, we don't fuck anymore, but maybe twice a year, but we're such good friends. It's like, no, passion has to be there, man. You got to tap that regularly. It's just, and sometimes it kind of goes away, and you miss it. You want to feel about your art the way you feel about like the chick in high school, or that dude in college, or that person that you met who took your breath away, the person that like separated you from your friends, not intentionally in a Yoko Ono kind of way, but just kind of like, oh my God, this person's fascinating. Like for me, it was a chick. Like, oh my God, everything she says is amazing. I don't want to hang out with my friends. I'd rather hang out with her. And so you push your friends over for a little bit. Like, you want to go out? And you're like, no, man, I'm going to hang out with this chick. She's fucking amazing. And she enlightens you. She teaches you things. She's fucking beautiful. And she's sexy. And she fucks like the demon, you know? She's everything you dreamed about, and she's interested in you for some reason. She's turned the fucking sun onto you for some unknown reason. You don't ever want to let that go, man, 'cause once you've been stood in the light of the sun, shit, you never want the moon and shit. So you work hard to stay around that, and you love being around her, and you do things together. She's the kind of broad that she's like, you're like, hey man, you want to go to Denny? She's like, fuck yeah, I love moons over my hammy, you know? And you're like, oh, I got one of the good ones, and you're sitting there in fucking Denny's eating across from one another, splitting like a moon's over my hammy, and she's like rubbing your leg from under the table, and you look up at her, and she's looking at you with those eyes, those bedroom eyes, and you know that fucking expression, and you're just like, what? And she's like, let's go fuck in the bathroom. And you're like, we can't go fuck in the bathroom, man. There are people here. The old couple's looking at us. The waitress gonna think we're gonna dine and shit. She's like, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go in the bathroom and I'm gonna wait to get fucked. I hope it's you. And off she goes, man, to the bathroom, and you're like, whoop, 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 and you're fucking looking around, and you're scared, and your heart's fucking racing, and you look at the old couple who's sitting there enjoying the fucking early bird special, and the lady, the woman, older woman, 60, 70 maybe, is looking at you and just like so disapprovingly, and her husband is like, go. So you get the fuck up and you go to the fucking bathroom, man, and you look and you hope maybe she's in the men's, but no, she's gonna make you work for it. And so you go in the ladies' bathroom, man, and you go into the stall, and there she is, and you fucking lock the door, and you got a foot under the stall to kind of hold the bathroom door closed, and you start fucking hardcore in the Denny's bathroom right against the toilet wall, man. Foot goes in the fucking bowl, she hits the flusher and shit. She's loud in Denny's, you know. Everybody fucking knows what's going on, and you are fucking the shit out of her in a Denny's bathroom, and that's how you have to feel about your art, man.
And so there you go. I'm gonna put a link up in the feed here. Don't mind the Russian subtitles. It's the only place I could find it that was streaming it for free. But that's exactly it. You have to be passionate. I can't reiterate what he said in any better sense. You have to have that passion, that drive, that spark, that thing that drives you. It has to be there. It is, as he says, the glue that holds everything together. And if you lose it, you lose everything. And so when I see people just kind of jumping on the, oh, I'm going to do a podcast, or I'm going to start streaming games, or I'm going to draw a webcomic, or any of the other things that, people do and they're doing it not necessarily for the sense of fulfillment, for enjoyment of that passion that comes from creating. Instead, they're doing it of, I want to be a big YouTube star and make videos from home and have people like them and make money from ad revenue and just get paid to do what I like, which is play video games. Where is that passion? Where's that drive? Where's that thing that is so uniquely you, that you can invest into this project? Where is that? Is just a cop-out? Is it like, are you thinking, well, they always say, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And that's true. That's true if you get, lucky, or if you bust your ass and work real hard and push yourself to make that thing you like successful. And most cases you hear it's a slog. It's a terribly slow, arduous process where a lot of the times you wonder, is it even fucking worth it anymore? What is the point of me doing this goddamn shit? I say it plenty of times enough. Nothing in this world matters. You don't matter. I don't matter. We are freaks in the cosmic sense that we should not exist, yet here we are on this floating rock, hurtling through space, and we will be dead in the blink of an eye, and none of our accomplishments are going to matter. But that's the beauty of it. That's where that freedom comes in, where if nothing matters, then there is nothing that could or should hold you back. Because we have such a limited time. We are here literally in the span of a breath, not even that. And if you waste and squander that time by just coming home and watching TV every day, if you are not pursuing that which drives then what's the fucking point? We have so little time, and it's aggravating to see people squander it and knock a whole hog into something. And it could be, you're just doing a side project. You're just doing something to try it out. You're just kissing that boy or kissing that girl just to see what it feels like. You're experimenting, and that's fine. That's fine. But when you start entering into fucking contests to like prove that you are the best, that you have the biggest swinging dick, that you are the prime alpha, and you are the end all be all of this particular category, then fucking come with your A game. Be prepared. If you're going to go to that local art fair that, the Lake Town hosts, where you set up a little booth and you're selling your shit, don't come with your half-ass drawn anime people, or I welded this propane tank to make it look like a pig. Fucking come at it hard. Come at it with everything you have. Scare the fuck out of that person in the next stall. Be everything that you can be and more, because there's so much hidden potential, and if you don't fucking capitalize on it, then what's the fucking point? It's why I invest all my time in this and work so hard. Even though my mom's on Facebook, like, hey, could you not say fuck in this post so I could share it? Fuck no. I will say fuck as much as I want, because that's who I am, and I love swearing, and I'm an adult and I make my own decisions. And you can't make me too. No, it's being who you are and embracing all of it and going for it and having that passion. So it's a good first segment. Holy shit, it's almost like I know what I'm doing here. Let's see, watch me bungle this transition. Oh, fuck. Part of me really hates having a beard. I went to go drink some of my apple juice, and there's goddamn stray beard hair floating in there. And I know it's mine. I could probably fish it out, but it's still disgusting. And not the first time, and it probably won't be the last time that something like that fucking happens. It's aggravating. And I realize as I look at the feed, like, holy shit, I am going bald. The hairline's receding. It's going back into like these weird Vegeta points. And I know the lady's gonna leave me as soon as my hair completely falls out. But at some point, it can only go so far back before I have to shave the entire lot again. And last time I did that, I got a lot of weird looks. But apparently, I've got a really good head for being bald. It's perfectly shaped. I don't necessarily want to go bald, but I know I can pull it off. But I mean, fuck, that's disappointing. Like, should I start getting some Rogaine for this little patch here? Bring it forward, or do I bring the rest of the hair over and start parting it in the middle like in some weird shitty comb over? I don't know. Or do I just have the confidence and wear it as it is? And, have those 3 strands coming off the middle of my head and doing the rest of the George Costanza. Confidence is key. Confidence is key. So I keep hinting at the vacation, but I don't delve into it. Goddamn tangents. Goddamn them. Yeah, so I took some vacation time and I sat around and pretty much did fuck all. I had this grand plan of like, oh, I'm gonna finish up my schoolwork and complete this course and or these 5 courses and really jump on things and get this promotion and be productive and make the most of my free time that I always bitch that I don't have. And I've got a full week to myself. And I did like not even the bare minimum. There was one day I hit it hard and then it's like, fuck it. What am I? I've got Destiny 2 sitting over there. Why am I not playing more video games? Why am I not redesigning my website? Why am I not, doing these things for me that make me feel good? And I totally gave in. I also ate way too much fucking Taco Bell and played so much Destiny in one day that I gave myself like a headache. My eyes were hurting, and it was amazing. And I got hit at a point that I was told, I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm not slapping myself on the back, I'm not jerking myself off when I say this, that I've been told that I work too hard, I put too much on my plate and try to do too much at once. Which could be saying a way of saying like, oh, Christian, you do so much, but you do it all shit because you're not fully invested in one thing. But I was at the girlfriend's house and she's at work and I brought over the Xbox. I felt like such a fucking like loser doing this. Like was gonna go down there one night, spend the night, and then stay there during the day while she went to work, and then we were gonna do something that evening. And like we were sitting on the couch, and I before I went down there, like, the fuck am I gonna do while I'm down there? I could I'm gonna bring my laptop anyways. I could use it to do some work. I got a billion fucking short stories I want to finish and get published, and I could do some school work, or I could even play fucking Warcraft. There's a million things I can do on my laptop. I'm gonna bring that anyways. And then the other, like, the devil sitting on my shoulder is like, bring the Xbox. You can totally bring the Xbox and play Destiny and get your hunter up to level 20 and get to work on your warlock. It's like, oh, sorry. This is why I can't record this late. I like get this late of a start. I start get sleepy. Like, that's the shit I used to do when I was like 9. Oh, I'm going over to Grandma and Grandpa's. Let me make sure I pack up the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo 64 and bring that with and play games. Except now I'm a 32-year-old man going to stay the night at the girlfriend's. It's like we're sitting on the couch and she's watching something on Hulu, and then I start creeping over to my backpack. She's like, "What are you doing?" "Nothing." Totally not a prepubescent child getting out my video game console to play games and hooking that up. And I don't know, like, I felt really fucking dumb, but at the same time I was ashamed of myself. Like, this is your passion, this is what you enjoy doing, why are you so fucking weird about it? Like, you guys are into different things. She likes watching TV and doing other crafty things, and is not into video games to the same extent that you are, and that's totally fine. You guys can be into these different things, and you can do them simultaneously, because you can stream the Xbox to your computer and she can still watch TV, or you guys can sit together doing different things but sharing one another's company. It doesn't always have to be us doing the same thing the entire 24-hour stretch that we're together. And I don't know, I felt ashamed and embarrassed. But she knows. I mean, I even turned my love of Destiny into another fucking podcast where it's this hobby. It's this thing I like to do, and you're passionate for it. And I bought a domain name even, and I've got an RSS feed and all this other thing. So it's not, oh, it's not just a video game, I'm trying to make some money. No, I really enjoy this thing this much, and before you knew it, a half hour passed. She was going to go to bed anyways, and it's like, well, I'm just going to set up and play fucking video games. But I still feel like that stereotypical loser. Like, she's off making the bread and butter and bringing home the bacon and all these other food related anecdotes about wealth and money, and I'm the fucking schlub where it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm starting to get hungry, and it's like I should probably shower and actually put on pants, because I'm definitely sitting on her coffee table in my underwear just cranking away at this character, and like, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get a shower, I'll go get some Taco Bell. And as I'm sitting in the drive-thru at Taco Bell, I was like, the fuck are you doing with your life? You're sitting in your underwear, you're 32 fucking years old, you're playing video games at your girlfriend's house while she's at work, while she's out doing stuff. And then the other, like, side of this split personality conversation is like, why are you so angry? You're on vacation. You earned this shit. It's not like you called in sick, you're playing hooky. You put a request in like a goddamn adult. You accumulated these vacation hours that you have to use before the end of the year. Like, why are you trying to sap the joy out of this reward, this thing that you worked so hard for, that you've been begging for, that you've been screaming at your coworkers, you hate their faces, and you can't wait to take time off so you can, fester and rejuvenate and come back with this newfound hatred for work? Or just, fucking relax and chill out and enjoy life, Like, I joke the only times that I'm really, truly happy, the only times that I can come alive, like, naturally without having to, like, force it, and this sounds terrible, especially when she listens to this episode. It's an anecdote or hidden truth, I don't know. But it's when my son's around. That joy of being a parent just, elicits, that reaction where he can be frustrating and piss me off, but I'm still happy because I get to spend time with him, and I love him more than I love breathing, and I like breathing quite a bit. And it's the only time where I get that chemical balance where it's just natural happiness. I don't have to think; it comes. And so when I'm sitting and eating my Taco Bell and playing fucking Destiny, it's like, why are you punishing yourself for enjoying something? Why can't you be fucking? Why can't you be happy? And it was a nice realization, but I still felt like a lazy piece of shit. Like, I realize about myself that I can't be happy unless I'm doing something, unless I'm being productive, and whether that's be doing online classes or redesigning a website or uploading a show or essentially, creating something, then I can be happy. It feels like I've done something. I'm gonna be a pain. I'm gonna be an ass. It's probably I'll be honest. It was the best cure for my depression, as far as what is going to get me kicked over and bring things around, and that was figuring out how to do things and create content, and that was the natural cure for the depression. What's up, Devaki? Devaki, is that how you pronounce it? Got the chat cut off because it's fucking retarded here. Let's pump. Oh, you used a little smiley face. That's what's throwing me off here. Oh well. Can I resize this? This is terrible for the live, and it's gonna be even worse for the I think that should do it. There we go. That should do her. That should do her. Oh well. It's fucked. It's all broken. I shouldn't have changed the format. I blame Dan for this, again, outing me as far as what I do for a career, and then changing up my chat format so I could fit a fucking Skype window in here. But yeah, I shouldn't feel guilty. I should enjoy a little rest and relaxation, because that's what it was. It was a staycation. I'm not going out to Venice or France or seeing some queen's underpants. It's sitting at home and, cranking away at fucking video game achievements, because I can turn off my mind and enter that zen-like state and just do what I like doing, and not have that responsibility. Like, My bills are still paid. I'm actively making money while I sit here and do this because it's vacation time. It's accrued. It's accumulated. It's what I should be doing. It's what normal adults do. Like, I make my doctor's appointments, and then I go and try to find a raid. Don't feel guilty about that. And it's gonna be a work in progress. But with that sense of responsibility comes regular shows. Like, we're doing shit on time now, where Unwashed Asses goes on Monday, and then I get the archives and the audio feed done. And so by Tuesday morning, you can go to your favorite podcast app and then download the show and listen. It's right in your ears. It's okay, Devaki. I speak terrible German. I speak awful Spanish. So as long as you're willing to make the attempt, rock on, buddy. You do you. You do you. But yeah, it's just a matter of finding the balance. And with stuff going up regularly, then that's how we win awards. And I cannot wait until Saturday when we see who comes out on top. But I don't want to be talking myself in corners here. So we're going to wrap up the show with this third segment with a bit of hodgepodge. I know I've been all over the place, but fuck it. Fuck it all. There we go. We're getting her. I had to wait for that familiar beat. We could start turning the audio down. I noticed YouTube's been weird about flagging shit, where it's not doing what it usually does. And I'm worried with that Kevin Smith segment that it's going to flag something weird, or Twitch is going to mute a lot of. Am I muted? No. Shouldn't be. Yes, I was. Holy shit. Thank you, Devaki. You totally just saved this from being a ruined segment. You're my favorite person of the week. Thankfully, I didn't say anything too important. But yeah, if you live in the middle of nowhere with cornfields and soybeans and nothing but sparse forests, you're aware of this problem. You're aware of the plight that affects all mankind once autumn rolls around, despite the recent spike of 90-degree weather in what should be beautiful Midwest fall. The only thing that should be making me hot is the hot cocoa with the marshmallows and whipped cream and the hoodie that I've got pulled tight. Not this 90-degree bullshit where the sun is beating down on me and making me sweat. And I have to run the fuck... It is the end of September and I have the goddamn air conditioner on. That's not fucking right. Not fucking right at all. But it's supposed to get better. In a day or two, it's going to drop 20 degrees and, we'll be back down into the high 60s, which will be great. It's what I want. We want that... We want that nice slow descent into winter. I want to enjoy, leaves falling and girls in plaid miniskirts with, thigh-high stockings and scarves. And I've got such an amazing scarf collection building up, and I can't fucking wear them because it's too goddamn hot out. So yeah, let me go get some caramel apples and some hot chocolate, and you can get your pumpkin spice whatever. We'll bake a pie. We'll walk around the lake while that crisp breeze blows through your skirt. Where the fuck was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So, anybody who's getting into this season, despite the heat, is well aware of the turmoil that can erupt from these sparse copses of trees and the empty highways in the middle of the night. And you know it as well as I do, and we're not going to beat around this bush any longer because that's just pointless. Talking about Headless Horsemen. They come out of nowhere. The Hessians from centuries long since past, where they ride the moonlit nights again. Once fall comes around, once the leaves start falling, heads do too. The Headless Horsemen just ride the roadways looking for victims. But the problem is as time has marched on, they're becoming less effective at their job, at their task, at what they were designed to do, which is to, behead Americans. And it was largely the advance of the automobile that made this, kind of unsuccessful, a bad season for them. Where I'm driving home, it's, the sun's going down. Once the sun starts setting, they're going to start popping out of the cornfields. And so, just that. I mean, I even had it tonight where driving home and the sun's going down. I have to turn on the headlights, and you don't hear them because they're undead ghost horsemen. Comes charging out of the cornfield, and he's got the jack-o'-lantern head all lit up on fire, and he's swinging the sword, and you hear that spooky laughter, and it's definitely not anything moving. It's definitely not. But they're coming out of the field, and they're swinging the sword, and they're like, you got the spooky laugh, and everything's going on. And you just drive by because you're doing 55, 65 down the stretch of highway, and a horse, even an undead one, with spectral flame and all that, cannot keep up with an automobile. And so they ride back off into the cornfield. What are you gonna do? Back in the day before the automobiles, where you draw on those horse-drawn carriages and whatnot, they'd get victims aplenty. They just come out, ha-ha, and behead the wife, and the husband would scream like a girl, and he'd get his pitchfork. But it'd be too late because another horseman, because they hunt in packs, would come out and they'd clever girl them, and that would be it. And I almost feel bad. It's not like they're an endangered species because they're already dead, and they just kind of keep rising up and coming out of the cornfields and coming after you. But back in the day, it used to be a real threat where, my grandfather would tell me, oh, if you see the horseman, what you got to do is you got to get across the covered bridge. You have to get across the covered bridge because it goes over water, and ghosts can't cross moving water, and it acts as a natural barrier. You can get across the bridge and turn around and look at the horseman, and he'll be on the horse, and he'll be nhinnying and neighing, and it'll be spinning around, and you can just kind of throw double birds at the horseman because he's not going to get you. That being said, you have to make sure there's not like another cornfield or forest on the other side of that bridge, because it's like kind of crossing from one side of the tracks, the wrong side of the tracks, over to the other wrong side of the tracks if there are more horsemen abound. And it might be because with time and technology moving on, I know we have like a concealed carry in Wisconsin, but people don't even really waste the bullets on the horsemen any longer. I saw an old lady the other day, because I work in a lot of rural farm areas. She had her broom out, and there's a horseman sitting at her porch, kind of like, like the Black Knight would go to siege a castle, and they had the moat, and the bridge is drawn up, and he can't get across, so the horse is just kind of like stamping its feet, and he's getting pissed off. It was the same situation where this old lady had taken the precautions. She had built a tiny moat with a little covered bridge, kind of like people would put, garden gnomes in their garden to protect the garden and help things grow. She put this little covered bridge over this tiny moat to keep the horsemen from getting across. It's not something you see in cities as much, because the horseman problem, they're out of their natural habitat at that point. They need the forests and they need the. I'm paranoid. Okay, yeah, we're not muted. Really just paranoid. um, they need that natural environment to do their work. And so this old lady had taken advantage of that, where she had the little covered bridge going across the water, and the horseman is just sitting there on the other side at her porch, and he's doing the spooky laugh, and he's got the sword, but he can't do anything, and she's essentially just fending him off with her broom and like poking and prodding at him. It's kind of like when you're getting rid of a stray raccoon or possum. It's more annoying than it is a threat to you. It's like, fuck off, horseman. And eventually they do. They go back into the cornfields because as the moon goes down and the sun comes back up, then they disappear. You only got to really watch out for them at night. And it can be, spooky when you're a kid, bit creepy, even scary if you're riding in your car and it's late at night. You went to go visit grandma's or something, and your parents were dumb, like, oh yeah, we can stay out later because we've got this big old SUV. The horseman won't get us. And they're right for the most part. I mean, what's a fucking undead German soldier on a spectral horse going to do to you and your Buick Enclave or your Hemi or what have you? Not much, because one, they can't keep up. Two, ghost swords, they can't penetrate car bodies any longer. That's why we moved over to this new polymer, where they're no longer built out of steel, which is a conduit for ghost swords. So you kind of get a show with the green flames and all that, but it's scary as shit the first time you see it. You're in your car seat and you're kind of like you're dozing off and you're losing it, and then you hear that that spooky fucking laugh, and I can't do it because I don't have an echo on the soundboard here. And you look out and there's this fucking horseman. He's just like galloping along with the car for the 5 feet that he can do it. It scares the shit out of you. And then your dad, you look to your parents because you're a kid and that's what you do, and they're already like, they've seen so many wild horsemen. They're like turkeys or deer. They piss you off, and so he turns up the FM radio a little bit more, and you're listening to the fucking eagles drown out this spooky laugh, and you see, you look behind and you see the horseman kind of fading into the distance before he turns off in the cornfield again, and it's just one of those fact of life things. Like you never forget, where were you when JFK was shot, or where were you when 9/11 happened, or you never forget your first lay, or you never forget the first horseman that you run over. Like the first deer you hit, which you could go back to the archives and listen to me bitch about the first fucking deer I hit. You never forget the first horseman that you hit. And write the show. Everybody write the show. theunwashedasses at gmail.com. Again, theunwashedasses@gmail.com. Write me in and let me know the first time you hit when you hit your first horseman. Mine was back, I was 17. It was kind of late in the season where most of the leaves had fallen off the trees, and as we know, the horseman's reappearance and lifespan is tied to leaves on the tree. Once all the leaves are gone, the horseman, he disappears for the winter, and he waits until fall comes back around. So it was really, really late in the season. Snow had started to fall, but we still had a few leaves on the tree. It was weird. I lived in Illinois at the time. Our winters are fucked up, where it's more rain than snow and shit like that. And I was working at a retirement home at the time. I was an aide in the kitchen, so I helped like the cook get everything together and prepped all the trays, did dishes and things like that. And so I'd go to school all day long, and then I'd go work until like 8 o'clock at night, and then go home, be home by 8:30. So it was a long fucking day, at least 12 hours a day every day. And then, go home and have to do my homework and shit like that. They were long fucking days. And the drive to work was about a half hour away. So I'd get out of school and I'd I'd go to work, change at work, and do my shift and drive home. And it was late in the week. It was a Thursday, and so I was already feeling pretty burned out. And you know, as a kid, I was dumb. It wasn't one of those things like where I could tell people like, "Hey, I'm tired. I need a day off so I can get caught up on some sleep." You know, I'm feeling overworked. Unlike, you know, nowadays where I can just bitch to the internet to strangers about how tired I am. I toughed it out, and that was my first mistake. I knew I was tired. I should have stopped. I should have done something about it, and I didn't. I didn't. I was 5 blocks away from work, and the path to work, it went through a town. So again, not the horseman's natural habitat, but this was a more of a, not necessarily a rural town, but where the nursing home was located was next to some woods. And it could have been the woods. It could have been the fact that, you know, there's an old folks home there, and sometimes old folks, they like to get out and they wander. The alarms will go off, but every now and then they can get out the door. And if dusk is settling in, then yeah, the horseman's going to come out and he's going to behead that old fucker and, you know, ride off cackling with an old person head. And then you just kind of fish their body out of the pond and call the family and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, they got out. We didn't make it in time. It was dark out, and the horseman got them." And they cry, and they're like, "Well, did you find?" And you say, "No, I'm sorry, we didn't find the head. All we have is the body. You probably want to do this closed casket, or you know, we can cremate. That is an option. But yeah, we definitely don't have the head." And you never find the heads. You never do. It's kind of like people trying to find Bigfoot. If a horseman takes the head, you're never going to find it. People have put up fake videos and hoaxes like, "Oh, I found my grandfather's head after a horseman took it," and it's usually like this shitty paper mache thing. So it was late in the season. I wasn't expecting much. It was cold out. There's snow on the ground. By this time, because it's like, you know, 3:30 going on 4, the sun's going down. So I should have been alert, but I was tired. My mind was addled. And I shit you not, I was like 5 blocks away from work. I was about to make the turn off the main road to the side road to go to the facility. And I must have dozed off. It's the only explanation I have, because I was going to stop at the break. I was going to stop at the stop sign and then turn left. And I must have dozed off, because the next thing I know, I'm being jolted awake, and there's a re-dead horseman and a horse laying in the middle of the road. I didn't hear the laugh. I didn't hear the whinny. By the time I got out of my car, the horseman was going up in the green flames, and there wasn't even ash left. It's like, fuck! Because as we know, the ghostly swords can't hurt your car, but an undead fucking ghost horse will dent the shit out of your bumper and your hood. And what do you do? What do you do? What do you say? You know, you go home and you be like, "Hey, I'm sorry. My foot slipped." Like, you can't tell them, because they're going to say, you know, if you go home and say, "Oh, well, I was tired," and they're going to say, "Well, you need to quit your job then. You know, quit the job, focus on school. You know, we'll give you money." And you're like, "No, you won't give me money because we're broke. And I need the money so I can take my 16-year-old girlfriend out bowling and to cheap dinners at the local truck stop. And I have to, you know, we're going horseman hunting next fall. I need to, you know, have my stuff ready." So you lie. You lie and you say, "Well, my foot slipped. You know, I went to go step on the brake, but I only had my big toe on it, and my foot slipped, and before I knew it, I was hitting the horseman." So yeah, that was the first time I hit a horseman. There's been a few times since then, because again, they pop out of the cornfields, and you're not expecting it. If you're not looking for the green glow, or the corn is dense enough, you're not going to see it. But everybody's got a story, so I want to hear yours. Again, write the show, theunwashedasses at gmail.com, or on Twitter at unwashed_asses, and let me know the first time you hit your Horseman, and we'll share those on next week's show, because we're getting into spooky season with October and Halloween, and we're going to change things up. I've already got some decorations up, and I asked myself, why are you so fat, Christian? It's definitely because I've eaten an entire bag of Snickers and Twix and Reese's Cups. So what are you going to do? But I think that's going to wrap it up here. Again, tune in Saturday. I might be doing a live stream. I don't know, of the podcast awards. We'll see if we get an award. Either way, we get a trophy for being nominated. Again, thank you to everybody for registering and voting and doing all that. But yeah, we will be back next. Yep, I'm finished, Tavaki. We'll be back next Monday at 9 p.m. Central Time, the only time zone that matters. And of course, you can find the show on iTunes, Google Play Music, anywhere you get your podcasts. Just look for the Unwashed Asses. And we will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
It will soon be here. Oh, that much is clear. So shut the doors and turn off the lights. Let us sleep tonight. Let us huddle in the dark. Oh, my lover, you are beautiful, but that beauty comes at such a price. And I know that you'll soon disappear, like the dark and the night.
This show is part of the HFC Gaming Network. Get more at horrorofcasitis.com.